So we have a viewer who wants to know about the gas tax and why we need a gas tax increase, and I think that leads more generally to transportation funding. Let's start with you, Senator Rarick. I don't think we've picked on you this evening yet, so it's your turn. Talk to us about the gas tax, where you think it might go. And the governor has requested a 20-cent gas tax, and there's some complicating pieces to that because it involves moving some money that is already in the transportation budget, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about what your views on that and what you think might happen.
Yeah, this was one of the issues that during my special election was one of the very key ones that people talked about. And my whole campaign, I talked about we need dedicated funding to transportation. We all know that. We need an investment in our roads. But we do have to remember we do a lot outside of what we appropriate. There's a lot of money that goes into roads as well. But for me, I would like to see kind of a combination. We saw over the last few years, the Republicans were looking at dedicating sales taxes, lease taxes, things of that nature, and Democrats wanting a gas tax increase. And as I talked to people and I said, if both plans have we've come to a wall and we can't get any further, I would be willing to consider a small piece of each. Say a 5-cent gas tax if we dedicate more sales and lease taxes. I think when we saw the governor's plan where he's pulling back some of that dedication that we did a few years ago and then adding 20 cents, a lot of people in my area said, absolutely no, that really hurts our rural areas. We drive work trucks, construction workers, farmers, and we drive long distances. So a big gas tax is something that would hurt our area. I would be willing to support a small gas tax if it comes with more dedication of sales and lease taxes. I think that's a good combination of our two plans.
Senator Franzen, we touched on transportation a little bit earlier. Your opportunity,
Sure.
What do you think?
Well, I've actually, in my first term, voted for a gas tax increase of 5 cents, and this was probably, I think it was 2013. Now we're asking for 20. The longer we wait, the more expensive it gets. The projects get more expensive. They're big projects. Right now, we were looking at earlier this week all the different funding sources for transportation. There are at least 15 types of funding sources for transportation. You talk about bonding, you talk about the gas tax, you talk about property taxes, because if we don't pay for it at the state level, we punt it to the local communities and they make it up with increasing your property taxes to pay for the improvements at the local level. I think we need to look at a gas tax, but I don't think it's going to be the only source that's going to solve the problem, because people are driving less. And frankly, in the metro, it would be an issue too. We're stuck in traffic, idling for hours. So it might be the same kind of impact than your community over in Cloquet and elsewhere, because we are stuck in traffic because we're not spending the money that we need to add that extra lane or to have transit so people get off their cars and carpool or get on a more efficient mode. So we need to put all these issues together, and at the end of the day, we're paying for people of lost productivity because they can't get to work early on, and employers back it up. So I've seen chambers of commerce, even at the national level, supporting similar proposals. I don't know if we're going to end up at 20 cents, but for every 1 cent that we do increase, it brings in about 30 million. And we do know that in the next 10 years, we're going to need to maintain our roads and to increase capacity and enhance what we have today. It will take at least 600 million, if not more, for the next 10 years. So you do the math. We will need at least a 10-cent tax to actually make a dent. So I hope we think about it. One of my colleagues who represented Edina for many times, who used to be a Republican and then became a Democrat, worked on the Ron Earhart, who worked on this issue many years and then worked on overriding the governor's veto at the time for Palenti, and this was the last time that we increased funding for transportation. That was 10 years ago in 2008. It's time that we do this, and I would like it to be an educated and responsible conversation, because at the end of the day, whether we do it at the state level, our local communities are paying for it, and people who are relying on it are paying for it.
Representative Miller?
Senator, I want to make one correction. We have been increasing funding for transportation over the years. We haven't increased the gas tax. That may have just been what you meant to say.
I did.
Yep, so absolutely. I do not support a gas tax. My issue is that Minnesota doesn't have a revenue problem, it has a spending problem. I came in 2015 and we're walking into a $34 billion budget. This one coming up is going to be just shy of $50 billion. We've got the money to do these things, and so to say that we're going to increase that much of a budget and then we're going to increase the spending with more taxes is just insane to me. Another concern that I have with the gas tax is where that money is dedicated, at least in rural Minnesota, is not where the needs are. Where the needs are on the county roads, the small town roads, the township roads. Now, the gas tax provides a little bit of money for township roads, but not much. We increase this by 20 cents a gallon. Those roads are still not going to be affected by that increase in funding. So if you want to talk to me about ways to increase the funding for roads and bridges and not other types of transportation, I'll have that conversation. But I need to make sure that in my district, the roads that need the fixing are actually getting addressed, and this 20-cent gas tax doesn't do that.
Representative Purcell?
I want to go just a little bit to where the increases in transportation have come from, at least in the last biennium. And it was about $500 million out of the general fund and left a hole in the general fund. That was the auto parts sales tax. And what we're supporting in the House and on my side in the House is the phased-in 5 cents a year for the governor's 20 cents. And that'll backfill that hole in the general fund, so we have funding to do what we need to do with health care and with mental health issues, and there's a long list of what we need to do, but it would backfill into that general fund. And so we can move ahead, I do believe, and of course the gas tax is dedicated to transportation, so there isn't much disagreement on that, I don't think. But as the senator said, it's something like $600 million a year or a biennium, and those are big dollars. So we definitely, and we're behind the 8 ball. We're behind several years already, as we are with just to mention this with sewer and water infrastructure. We're behind on that statewide. So we're behind the 8 ball as far as I can see, and if we don't get some new funding into transportation, we're going to fall further behind, and as was alluded to, it gets more expensive every year. A mile of road in a township or anywhere gets more expensive every year. So we have to factor in inflation. I know some folks don't like inflation factored in, but we tell our businesses not to factor in inflation into their costs, and they don't want to do that either. So we got to be realistic here.